Well, it's a tough day today for TSM and NA fans as TSM has failed to move out of groups. I'm joined right now by Reginald. Reginald, first I'd like to thank you for doing the interview after a loss. I know that's pretty tough and not everyone would do it. Talk to me about, it's been so many years, and every year it feels like this is going to be the year that TSM gets out. This year the roster looked good. This year the group looked good, and yet it just feels like the team doesn't play the way they do in North America. What do you think is causing this to happen?
I think that in North America, from a play perspective, a lot of our players are better enough individually. So we get away with a lot of things that shouldn't work on an international level. And like from a team play perspective, we fell really short. It wasn't a case of like we were almost there. We played really poorly, specifically to the second week. So I mean, we we win in North America because we have a lot more better individual players on an international stage. Our teamwork and our team play just wasn't good enough.
What do you think it means for North America? Because I feel like at this point in time, a lot of fans are probably losing hope of ever having a chance on the world stage. Do you think that there is still a chance, or do you think that we're kind of just cursed to have all these memes about second week curse and all this big hope and all that kind of thing?
Um, I do think so. Um, I think that from a strategic standpoint, we definitely need to focus on that a lot more moving forward. I mean, every single year you can point to something, right? Um, and so there's really a lot of things that we need to work on. I mean, it doesn't necessarily make sense to say like, oh, North America has no chance every single year, because theoretically, five players can play really well that year, or the meta can really work well for them. Um, and for the most part, um, this year the game was about pressure and rotations, and really less about killing. Right, it was really bot lane focus, and um, we we weren't really good at like playing around the map. Our seesaw wasn't strong. We weren't good at playing as five. So every single time we made a play, someone else was focused on something else. So I mean, sorry, I'm going off topic, but what I'm trying to say is, of course, right, North American teams will have a chance, but we do need a lot of work from where we're at right now.
Do you feel like it was the team situation or the situation with the team because, and it just being like an issue where you guys couldn't sort of play with these opponents? Because it does feel like some of the decision making was like less than what we'd expect from North America. Like even Doublelift died with Flash consistently up. A lot of people were very, very critical of some of the drafting. Do you feel like there's like a pressure situation that happened here, or do you think that the team is still playing as good as they are in North America? It's just that when you come to the international tournament, that level of play is not enough.
It's really hard to say, right, because we're playing against different opponents. I do think that there were a few issues with our draft. I think that we should have went down to a few compositions and focused down on that more instead of just practicing to be better overall. I think that really hurt us.
I know it's early days now, but a lot of people are looking at this roster and this lineup and feeling like, okay, we saw this roster last year at Worlds. We thought that this is what we were supposed to win with. Then this year it was like, we heard during Summer Split, okay, yep, we got the same roster, and now we're going to try a bunch of different strategies and diversify ourselves so that we can, show different options at Worlds. It just didn't seem to come out. Is there like how dedicated are you now to this roster and this lineup, or should we expect to see big changes from TSM?
Um, I think that from a play perspective, we should have narrowed down a lot more on our champions. So even though we are playing, our template was to play like every single meta. I think that it was a case of us being a jack of all trades, more so than like being really good at a few styles, and I think that kind of hurt us. Primarily because when you're on the international stage, you can't just throw every single strategy at a team. You have to throw your very best strategies. I felt like we weren't just super good at any specific strategy.
In terms of roster and how dedicated you are to this team and this lineup and the staff, should we expect to see changes, or is it too early to say?
For our roster and our staff, it's definitely too early to basically say stating changes. We don't even know if we're a part of the franchise next year yet. Although I think that there's a good chance. I have no idea. So it's going to be something that we figure out in the future. They're, you know.
Do you think that this is worrisome for the region, especially as we've got more investment coming into the space and more, like all this conversation around franchising and that kind of thing? Should North America be worried if we can't perform on the international stage, or do you think that, having a solid, entertaining region and, a good league, is that enough to sort of sustain North America for League of Legends?
That's a really difficult answer. I really can't tell for the future. I do think it's really important to be competitive on an international scale. And so, we need to just go back and see what we need to work on and fix those issues. It's hard to tell right now because we just finished a match like 20 minutes ago, and so we have to spend time to think about that.
What's next for you? Do you spend for you personally, do you spend the next week kind of just like going over this kind of thing, or how do you decompress and sort of reflect on what happened?
I need to just spend some time thinking. I have no idea at the moment. Probably go back to work. There's lots to do at the moment. So maybe spend a day or two just to think to myself and then figure out what I need to do.
I know you were just in the room talking to the team. How's everyone holding up? Because I'm sure there are a lot of fans that are a little worried about some of the team members and how they're feeling right now.
With any loss, it feels incredibly frustrating, right? So it's still hard to tell because we haven't really had that much time to speak with them. And so that's something I'm going to do right after this.
All right. I feel like we've kind of gone over everything we can at this point in time. It sounds like there's a lot more to sort of think about and maybe talk about down the line in terms of how North America and TSM can create really compelling lineups for the international stage. I'm sure a lot of fans are going to have a lot of questions and a lot of thoughts about this stuff. Is there anything you would like to say to them now?
First off, seems repetitive, but sorry again for disappointing you guys. Every single year at Worlds, we are expected to do better, and we fall really short of our expectations. So I know you guys are disappointed. I'm disappointed in myself too. And yeah, we're sorry. Our players worked really hard at the boot camp. No excuses. These teams definitely played better than us today. They're a better team, and we lost. And, sometimes when you work really hard at something, it doesn't necessarily mean that the result would show. But, doing really well at Worlds and winning it is still going to be our goal. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Reggie, for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of our coverage here on my YouTube channel. I want to thank you all so much for the kind words and support about my videos here in China. I've been trying to put out a ton of great stuff, and you know what? It wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for my sponsor, Mobalytics. They are all about helping you try to get better at League of Legends by identifying your personal strengths and weaknesses, and you can actually check them out over at mobalytics.gg/Travis. They're also running a great giveaway that's in the description of this video, so feel free to check them out.